Good morning and assalamu alaikum, my dear students. How are you all? I hope you are quite well by the grace of Almighty Allah. I am also well by His grace. This is Muhammad Aminul Islam. Welcome to Mujizunda Foundation School and Colleges online class. Here I am again to take our online class on English first paper. Today our topic is eating habit and hazards. In my previous class, I have just started. I started on this topic, and so we discussed a little. And from the previous class, I'll just continue today. I hope you remain with me, and you'll put your comments in the comments box, of course. So let's start, my dear students. Today our topic is eating habit and hazards. So what do you see in the picture? William Somerset Maugham, of course, a well-known reputed writer, a British playwright, novelist, short story writer, of course, born on 25 January 1874 in Paris. He is a British writer. He was a British writer but born in Paris. You have to memorize it. Writer of Human Bondage, The Letter, The Razor's Edge, etc. are his famous writing. Liza of Lambeth, his first novel. Liza of Lambeth, his first novel. You have to memorize it for your kind information. Died on 16 December in 1965 in Nice in France. He was born in France and died in France, but he was a British writer. Yes, this is Luncheon, a well-known short story of William Somerset Maugham. Whenever I was the students of university, we started this short story, of course. In our previous class, I discussed about the definition of short story and some characteristics and some features of short story. Full of this short story and full of humor and irony. Actually, what is humor and full irony? Humor is kinds of laughter. When you go through the text, you become you find them in yourself in laughter. It's a very much interesting. And irony, what is irony? Actually, irony is a Greek word which means dissembler. In fact, irony is a literary or rhetorical device in which one thing is said but another thing is meant. I'm saying again, one thing is said but meant is another. Irony, there are some characteristics, some features of irony. Irony is humorous. Irony is humorous and satiric literary style. In irony, there is an incongruity between the actual result of sequence of events and the normal experience of result. There are, if I give an example of irony, is that a very fine friend you were to forsake in my trouble. He delighted in the friendly act impulsing me. There is some irony. The eating of babies as a solution to our population and starvation. I have already some irony. Irony definition. The word irony comes from the Greek word iron, means dissembler in speech. I have already the definition, its meanings. So I skip it. What do you see in the picture? No parking within 30 feet. The story of Lancion. I think you remember the lady guest, the lady admirer, and the writer himself in the Feuer's restaurants, the luncheon. I caught sight of her at the play. What is play? 20 years ago. 20 years ago we met. In Paris, you see in the picture, well known. I was living in Paris. Who was living? Of course, the writer was living in Paris when he was little age, when he was just started writing. This is the graveyard and this is the town. The writer's residence were beside. I had a tiny apartment in the Latin Quarter overlooking a cemetery. What is cemetery? Cemetery? A Latin Quarter. This is a Latin Quarter and cemetery. This Bangla means Qabristan. You know. This is a picture of France, Luxembourg. The lady guest was spending the morning at the Luxembourg is a country. This is of course most expensive restaurant, and I would give her a little luncheon at Feuer's afterwards. At Feuer's, the world's most expensive restaurant, because what's the reason? Feuer's is a restaurant at which the France senator sit. Can you imagine? France senator eats 100 franc liberty. This is the currency of France. I had 80 franc gold franc to last me the rest of the month. A modest luncheon should not cost more than 15. The writer thought he should spend only 15. I was startled when the bill of fare was brought. The writer could not think how much the bill came. I never eat more than one thing. I think people eat far too much nowadays. A little fish, perhaps. I wonder if they have any salmon. What's the species? It is said by the lady guest. Salmon. Salmon is a very popular fish in Bangladesh too. Rui mas. I never eat more than one thing unless you have a little caviar. Never mind caviar. Caviar. What is caviar? Caviar is one kind of food that is very tasty and that is very expensive, of course. My heart sank a little. I know I could not afford caviar, but I couldn't very well tell her that. For myself, I chose the cheapest dish on the menu, and that was a mutton chop. Actually, the writer could not tell the lady guest that this are very expensive. Of course, that's why the writer took the cheapest mutton chop, as he couldn't afford the bill of fare. So writer took only mutton. When my mutton chop arrived, she took me quite seriously to task. The French white wines are so light, they are wonderful for digestion. My doctor won't let me drink anything but champagne, the lady guest said. Of course, in the first, she said that she didn't take more than one thing. What is champagne? Champagne, one kinds of drinks, of course. And the writer took only water. What are you going to drink? When? Then water. The writer answered that he would like to drink water because it is very helpful for him, as he had not much money to afford the month. I couldn't possibly eat anything more unless they had some of those giant asparagus. What is asparagus? Asparagus is a fruit, is a food that writer often saw but could not eat. So it's because it is expensive. I had seen them in the shop and I knew that the writer said they were horribly expensive, horribly expensive, horribly expensive. My mouth had often watered at the sight of them. Let me imagine and think, but how much they expensive. Of course, the lady guest took coffee and ice cream too. But I have just had a snake and I shall enjoy a fish. Fish, one kind of fruit. So what is fish? Fish, another kind of fruit, and it was also very expensive fruit. This is a fish food, and they had the blush of an innocent girl. They had the rich one of the Italian landscape. Humorist, she cried gaily, jumping into a cab. You are quite humorist. It's a very ironic space. But I have had my revenge at last. How much he took his revenge? The writer took his revenge when she found that today she weighed 21 stone, 133.35 kilogram, and the writer became happy to see her as she taught her good lesson. She taught him a good lesson. So this is your homework. Write a paragraph on bad effects of operating. It should be your paragraph. So thank you, my dear students. Allah Hafiz.